Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Wine and Paint podcast. Today, we are here with another amazing father, Edwin, and we're going to be talking about the role of fathers within the community. So, please tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Okay. I am Edwin, and I am a father. I was a father of three stepkids in a previous marriage for 17 years. And I just had a newborn just over a week ago. And
Congratulations.
so I'm real excited about that. Thank you. Um, but at the moment, that's what I'm doing. I brought everything to home, basically, to family, and to get that together and get myself together.
Okay.
um, I have a coffee business that I put on hold for a little bit.
Okay.
Been working the coffee business off and on for probably 6 years as
Mhm.
a pop-up, and also as a way for me to like engage with the community, whether it's going to events, organizing events, or using coffee as a way to bring people together to connect. Because as we know, that's those are some of the best ways. Through drink and food, brings us together.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like coffee, and one of the reasons why I'm passionate about that. But um, I could be equally passionate about beer and wine too. But uh, but yeah, so the coffee business has been something that I've been doing the most lately. And um, yeah, and like I said, I think right now, if I would say what
Mhm.
I'm doing me. I'm doing me, you know, to one, get myself together, so that I can be of some use, so that
Yeah.
I can be helpful to my family and to the community.
That's
Um, so that's what I'm doing right now.
That's so awesome. Yes, I met Edwin for the first time when I was doing an art project. I was painting a mural out in Portsmouth at the skate park, and I met him through the Portsmouth Art Association. So that was really cool. And yeah, I just seen him doing his thing in the community. He's always been a really cool dude. Love seeing what he's doing. So yes, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for having this show and giving us a voice, and having a place where we can talk about some whatever it might be. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Hmm.
Well, today I have a little tea. Do you have anything special to drink?
Yes, I do. I just made a pot of coffee,
Okay.
and yep, so I will be having my coffee. And actually, just this is the one that I made is one I received as a gift. It's from a company called Cigars International. I don't know if anybody out there is cigar fans, but I'm just getting into it. But my cousin's really into cigars, and so he sent me a bag of coffee from that company, Cigars International. I believe they're a company out in PA, like a cigar superstore kind of place, and they have their own coffee. So I'm drinking that right now. It's a medium roast, if anybody wants to know.
Wow, that sounds extra fancy. Like I don't really know anything about coffee. Like I know the different creamers, like flavors and stuff like that, but I don't really know too much about coffee. But that sounds really good.
Yeah, it's just like, what do you like? What do you like to drink?
I like more like teas, and if I do drink coffee, it has to have like a lot of creamer in it. Like it
Hmm.
has to have like vanilla or like I'll get some wild flavors. Like I see some fruity pebbles creamer, so I want to try that. But
Mm.
yeah,
That'd make any coffee taste good.
yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, that sounds really good. So enjoy that. And
Thank you.
today I have just some paint and my canvas to
Okay.
create. So what will you be creating today with us?
I'm gonna be cooking. I'm gonna cook us some lunch,
Nice.
and I enjoy cooking, so that's that's why I chose to do that too. But I'm gonna make a. I got a bunch of broccoli from a food pantry. You
Okay.
know, I call it rescue. I rescued a bunch of broccoli from the food pantry.
Okay.
And so, I'm just looking for ways to use up the things that are gonna, um, make sure we eat the things, that are fresh
Mm.
and before they go bad or whatever. And so I was gonna cut the broccoli up and freeze it, whatever, but I'm gonna make a beef and broccoli,
Ooh,
beef and broccoli, and make some rice and um, over that.
that
So
sounds
that's what I'm creating.
that sounds so good. Yes, I can't wait to see. Definitely. Okay, so well, let's get into it. What do you think? Well, how would you define community?
That's always been like complicated for me, like um, to narrow something down to what community is.
Mhm.
But one thing I can think of is um, I think of relating it to art, like what you're doing now. And one thing I would say is community is messy. It's messy,
Yeah.
and I don't know how I'm not a painter,
Mhm.
um, but I am a creative, so I know that whenever I'm working on a project, it gets messy. Sawdust, tools everywhere, can't find things.
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
so, um, but it's something that gives you life, right? It's something that brings you joy,
Mhm.
and I would say community is like that. Community is messy, and but it's not necessarily it's not
Mhm.
something just you're working on. It's something that everybody's working on,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So basically, if we were to do community, we'd all have to bring all of our messes together.
Yeah.
And, I'll just say that that's why it's probably so hard to do,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. Huh. I like that explanation. I never thought of it that way. Bringing all of our messes together. That's true. Like, you're right. We're all just building our own little communities, our own little worlds, and then bringing all that together. That's what makes a real community. But you're right. That's hard, especially now, the days with COVID and just even before COVID. Like people, it didn't seem like people would really get together anymore, or just I don't know. It seems like the neighborhoods to me are not as family oriented as they used to be, or like there's no cookouts really or anything like that. Like nobody does stuff like that anymore. So
I was thinking the same thing, and you know, I bet you that's how we're all feeling. I bet you that you
yeah,
know it's across the board is that everybody, we're just saying, we're looking at it, we're like, man, it's like, what happened? What happened? Where did all that go? Right.
yeah, like and I mean it's something I took for granted as a kid, like just to pull up to the cookout or just a family gathering or just to go to Miss Jenkins' house down the street or something like that. Like, but now it's everybody's meeting online, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't feel like there's a real sense of interpersonal skills anymore. Like everybody's just like, okay, well, yeah, just in and out. Like that's it. No real connections anymore. And that's what it feels like.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it seems to me, I think it's pretty serious. It's pretty serious. we're talking about community and mental health. I think they go hand in hand, right? Um, because when you have a community of support,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're running things by people, and um, and people are just sharing who they are, sharing their gifts with you,
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I mean, hopefully we'll get some type of, I don't know. I don't know if we'll even go back to community, or maybe this is just how things are gonna be. Well, I guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I'm I really want to I really want to know, like, what are we going to do about it?
Right.
It'd be interesting to see what we do about it. Like right now, you bring it up, right? You bring it up, like, yeah, you know what? That is a thing, that we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And but I don't think, we really know what to do. Like our options out there now, way I look at it is like there's like a lot of business meetings, right? Or we're getting together for things, that might be, an event
Yeah.
versus coming together, like just like as a family and building relationships.
Right. I see what you're saying. Like, it does seem a little forced nowadays. Like, um, more networking is forced. Like, there's nothing wrong with networking at all, but really, it's nothing beyond that. It's more of like, okay, well, can you do this thing? I need this thing done. And that's it.
Yeah, yeah, like a service.
Yeah, right. Like, we're just treating each other like robots, or just,
Yeah,
so but it's refreshing to get to know people like you and your family, and just the different things you guys are doing in the community. That's great. Like, I love to see people like that. And everybody I've met in the Hampton Roads area, they've been like that. Like, a lot of people are like that. I mean, it's really cool.
yeah, yeah, that is. I found that in this area, although, there's a lot of lack of connection and stuff like that, overall, this
Mhm.
area does, you know, um, it does like have that. I felt community, in certain, especially where I live at now in Portsmouth. I grew up in South Jersey, so
Oh, okay.
when I moved to Portsmouth, I felt that community, that I like grew up around,
Mhm.
And here's one of the things that I say about that, right? That the reason I feel like, Portsmouth feels so much, feel like that to me
Mhm.
is that um, we're basically, out of all the things that we have out there that makes us less dependent of each other,
Mhm.
Portsmouth has, still has a lot of things that makes us dependent of each other, as
Okay.
far as our, like we have like these small like neighborhoods, right?
Mhm.
And these neighborhoods have a lot of different people, a lot of history.
Yeah.
um there's issues, in our communities and in our city, right?
Right.
So we basically gotta, it's like, kind of have to stick together, in order to just like get through the day,
Mhm.
like in Portsmouth, we gotta like communicate with each other just to know what days the trash has been changed to and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like we
Right.
um but yeah, when you yeah, I just feel like, there's more opportunity here, and it just lends us to be more open to like figuring that what that looks like for us, right? Like
Mhm.
we're not satisfied with where we are, and like what our community looks like and what it's doing. So
Mhm.
we get outside, we go outside and we look and we go pick up trash, or we go dream or talk to, talk to somebody passing by, a young person or whatever. We just go out of our door, and maybe just, um, just try, we try to engage with our community at some level, even if that's going out and doing gardening or going out for a walk.
Right.
Um,
And
it's that, it's more of a quaint place like that.
right. Yeah, tight knit. Portsmouth is like that. And I went to TCC for quite a while over there. And those people in that community, they were very welcoming. Everybody, I had a few like painting competitions over there, just painting outside, just different art shows I was invited to just because I would park my car in that neighborhood sometimes. So
Mm.
it was just a lot of different opportunities came for me with my art just by being there. So I know you're right. Like there's just the opportunity to talk to people because it is a smaller place. Whereas now I've relocated to Northern Virginia or
Okay.
Maryland area, and it is there's a lot where I live. There's a lot of different little communities, um, and those people like we have like different community gatherings. Like the other day we had like a huge cookout and fireworks and stuff like that, and they're always having like different community days and stuff like that. But it's just harder because I guess there's so many people and everybody's so busy and not really meeting your neighbors and stuff like that, like you would in a smaller community. So maybe that's something too. Everybody's just so spread out or busier here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something
Yeah.
just to compare. I was just thinking like, why would that be different? But maybe I don't know. So what three words would you use? I know you mentioned your father. We know your father. So what three words would you use to describe being a father right now, especially during all this 2022?
Let's see, choose which words I want to share now. Um, well, definitely, I think the first thing is proud, right? I think that that's a strong one. That's a strong experience and feeling, right? Is very, very proud, that you have this opportunity. At first it's like you have this opportunity to like to see this life, right? Or to see this life to something or to somewhere.
Yeah.
And so at first, I believe it's like very, very proud.
Okay.
And I think another word another word is scary, right? Is being a father is scary,
Mm.
um, for the same reason, right? Because you're proud because you have this awesome responsibility. You've been given this awesome opportunity and responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
and the scary part is you've been given this awesome opportunity,
Right.
for another life, right? And like, how do you do that? How
Right.
do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you go through doing these things for another life or helping to manage another life, um, and still manage your own, right?
Right.
And because I have a friend that likes to say, um, I can't control nobody else. I can only control myself, and that's only on a good day, right? Like,
Right.
that's I gotta work at it. I gotta work at it just to like take care of myself
Yeah.
and what I do and how I do it. And so yeah, so it's scary that you have this responsibility for another life, and
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So another word I would say is rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
Is rewarding because I'll say that we all know there's a lot of different paths that fathers take. Lots. We got fathers that that might have been there at birth, and then and got that other word scary, and got scared or whatever happens. Um, and there's just a lot of different factors and situations, right, when it comes to what's going on with the fathers in our household.
Right.
Right. But one thing that, if we could all stop and think about that we have in common is that we all have father issues.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree.
So it can be rewarding, and so I say that just to say that there's like a lot of paths, right? And it's to encourage and not to put anybody down. It's to encourage because we all make mistakes, like everybody, fathers, mothers, children, we
Yeah.
all make mistakes. And so, but we know what's important is like how we respond and how we deal with that, right?
Right.
Whether we continue to 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 go down a path of whatever it is that we feel,
Mm-hmm.
or we choose to face the things that we fear, which is difficult, right? Face things that we fear and go back and be like, I'm just, regardless of how much I messed up, I'm going to still do this because I can.
Yeah. And
I'm
for the long, I can only imagine what it's like to be a parent. Like you said, I'm having a hard time just figuring out how to take care of myself and what I need to do to actually be a functioning member of society. So it's it's just mind-boggling to me, and I commend people that are able to take care of children and have kids and stuff like that. I mean, one day, yeah, I do want to have kids, but definitely it's a very scary thing. So, yeah, just
yeah,
so I commend you, but yeah, just
yeah,
it's a lot to think
but
about and take on. Definitely, definitely. So I was doing a lot of research, and of course, I've seen so many different responsibilities for dads. What do you think the top, maybe just a couple, maybe two or three responsibilities would be for a father?
hmm, responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that I've thought about with this, with my newborn, and this and my partner, right? Like what am I bringing to the table, right? I think I look at it, I'm like, okay, God, what do I want
Mm-hmm.
to happen here, right? What do I want to pass down, right? I don't
Right.
want to pass down any fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like I don't want to, um, any of my lack, right, of my father in my life or lack of whatever. What do I want to pass down? I just thought about it. I wrote down some things that I wanted to foster, right, or I wanted to encourage in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one was presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And right, because you asked the roles, right? Is it responsibilities?
I think that's so important. Yes, just being present for your child is, I think, one of the most important things because, and not even, I'm glad you said present too, instead of being there, because you can be there and not be present.
True.
Definitely. Like it's very, very possible to just be there and not even acknowledge your child in any way, speak to them at all, or just, yeah. So that's a very
Right.
Good one. Definitely. I totally agree. That's important.
Right. And here's what I have to keep remembering to put in front of all of that is to be present for myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it sounds selfish,
Yeah.
but again, like I said, if I'm not well,
Right.
what can I really, what can I really do, and what can I give?
Yeah.
And so be there for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and in being there for myself, I will be there for, right. That's one of the things that I feel like I had to learn
Mm-hmm.
is I thought I was I was doing the noble thing of taking care of my family
Mm-hmm.
by, working and, focusing on that.
Right.
And and I will say that I think I did, even with that, I did a pretty good job at that, right? Of being present, um, building my career like while I was, being present at home as
Mm-hmm.
well. Um,
Gotcha.
but still, I believe my focus was off. If my goal was to take care of my family,
Right.
that was my number one goal, and I thought my number one responsibility was to take care of my
Mm-hmm.
family. But I didn't put the emphasis on, taking care of myself first, and making sure I love myself, making sure that I'm providing, for the times that I need to, de-stress or rest or
Right.
get some wisdom, get advice, talk to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Or all the things that it's hard to do because you're full speed ahead, um, on whatever, providing for your family, work, doing the career thing, moving up and impressing people, and still trying to have friends and relationships, and you
Yeah.
know all at the same time. And yourself is either at the bottom where it just never really gets any play at all, right? You just doing everything you do for somebody else, basically.
Right.
and and then it shows, and I believe that that the people in your life that you're providing for, you know sense that something's not right,
Yeah.
and you don't know what it is, and you're thinking you're doing all the right things, and you'll fight that. It's like, I'm doing everything. I'm working, I'm working my butt off, and right, you think you're doing all the right things, and then and you got your partner or spouse, you get offended, right? I'm speaking from experience. You get offended when they come to you and say that, you ain't doing enough.
Right.
Or that's how you receive it, right? You receive it like you're not doing enough, but
Mm-hmm.
they're saying that no, something, you're not. They're letting us know, and that's the balance of a relationship, of community.
Mm-hmm.
Is you can tell something's wrong, by how the environment looks, right, or how the things look, or what's happening.
Right.
You can tell what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying something's up,
Right.
and that's the balance, is that's your help. That's where the helpmate comes in, or having other people in your life.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to say something's off. You're not happy.
Right. I totally agree. And I'm gonna say one more thing, then we're gonna have to hop off and jump back on. But
Okay.
I totally agree. When you go into someone's house, you can tell what their mindset is like just by looking around. So definitely someone who's in that space with you and they're feeling something's off, it is definitely hard to. I get most of the time, I used to get offended, but I'm getting a little bit better at like, okay, well, this person knows me the best. So they only want to tell me the truth and let me know what's really going on. But before I used to get angry, like, how dare you? Like you said, like, I'm doing all I can, but really you're just running yourself into the ground. So you're just running in circles, and then you have to step back and reevaluate. So that's really, you're right, being present for yourself is what's most important. Because if you're not, you're just gonna be running around and burning up all your resources, and then you're not with that person or who you're supposed to be there for anyway. So
Right.
totally,
That's true.
totally agree. So okay, yes, this is a great conversation. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back.
So with everything that's going on right now,
decade,
how is
social pressure has grown
How
to
do
get
you
fathers
avoid
more
helicopter parenting?
productively engaged with their kids. However, the media has also
Alright.
discouraged men from reaching their full potential as nurturing dads. Do you agree with this?
Tell
Do
me
you
what
think the media is giving mixed
tell me what
signals
helicopter
about
parenting
what
is.
it is to be a real
Like
dad? Being just overprotective, like trying to do everything for your kid, making sure they're not.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
guess this would be kind of hard to answer
just
because, but you
tell me
have your other
the social
children as
pressure,
well.
you know,
So
if we
how is it
the social
that
pressure,
you're able to, you know,
you
just
mean
give
like
your advice as a father, but not try
just
to live their lives
in
for
general,
them
like
or do
information out
everything
there
for them?
saying, hey, you know, spend time with your kids
Mhm.
and take
I
care of
know
yourself. Like the media
any
and
parent
things
would tell you
Yeah,
that promote
that
the
they,
parenting and stuff like that,
yeah.
you know,
Like
would have a
what is
problem
the
with that.
media saying about what it
Um,
is to be a real father? Like,
mm,
you know, are they
I
giving
think
mixed
first
signals like, hey, this is
first of all,
what it
I
means to
just I
be
feel
a
like it's very
nurturing
hard to do.
dad,
It's very
but
hard not to do that,
not really
Right.
making a way for
right?
dads to do
Because
that in
again, you
society?
feel like it's your duty
Okay. Yeah, like
to protect.
like
We have this image out there
by all means
about
necessary
what it's supposed to look
and
like. Then we say,
Yeah.
even if that's
and
protecting them from
you know
themselves,
and
Mhm.
and that's what we claim, right? It's like
it
you
may
know, I'm protecting you from yourself.
may
You know, so you don't protecting you.
actual
Basically, we're
how
saying
you
we don't
do
want
it.
you to make any mistakes,
Right.
or it doesn't work that way for you,
like it does on TV.
especially the ones that we
Yeah.
made already. Well, you know,
Yeah.
I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made.
Right.
Yeah, I do. That's
Think
our stance.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I think is it's unfortunate there, but showing us, yeah, and I think media
some
does lend to
examples.
that. Media
Mhm.
lends to us making our kids
What do you?
want
Let
to
me
look
ask you
more
this:
like
what do you
the
think
picture that we see,
the most positive
It's like,
representation
you know,
you've
we
ever
want
seen
we want the
of a dad
the
would be in the media?
whatever we
Like,
want the Cosby
it
kind
could
of
be
family,
right
right? So
now, like
Right.
present
we're like,
day,
okay,
or
we're going to change.
when you were
I
growing
ain't gonna
up.
let you go through
Do
the
you
same thing
remember
that I
any
went through.
positive representations at all?
Right.
So it's very noble. Like I don't think it's
Yeah.
it's very
And
hard to do to
I
not
think
to
there's
not do
one
that. But I think the first thing we can do is to avoid it. I think if you
to
ask
know
anybody
that,
that
as far as
that I can't really
the role
protect
of
in that way, the portrayal of a father. You ask anybody
it would have been
that by doing that,
the
I'm not
Cosby
really
Show,
protecting.
right?
Right. Definitely.
You know, I think that's a
you
good
know,
way to look
and
at it. Is that that I could very possibly be hurting.
that's what
them. That's what we
Mhm.
had, and if
as
I'm
the-
not
as a
leaving
show,
opportunity for
it was good
experience, I think that was positive. Because
love
look at
the
us,
Cosby
right where
Show.
we are, right?
Yeah.
Or what
I love
good,
the
bad, or indifferent.
there might have
where
been
we are
things I
right
was
now,
you know
who we are,
that I missed
Mhm.
in
is a
there
culmination
that
of things that happen to
that
us, like how we
wasn't
grew
good.
up and
Right.
situations.
I think a
and,
lot of us saw
schools
a
that
lot
we
of
went
healthy
to, things that people
said
said
to
healthy
us
or whatever, good, bad, or
in that
indifferent.
show.
That's how
healthy
that's how it
transition
happens.
of
The kids,
Yeah.
transition on how the parents dealt with the kids in different situations and issues,
Right.
how they dealt with other families.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really that's a
members,
hard
right?
thing.
Outsiders.
For me,
We saw like all
I
these what
help take care of a little guy during the week.
in my
And
opinion,
it's just so hard for
and probably
me
a lot
to
of
even
others,
take
is
him to
a
the park
healthy
and not be
example.
like, oh my gosh, like don't put on that, or I agree.
So
Don't
yeah.
fall, or don't
That's
go there.
definitely
Just one of the first
different
shows
little
that I think
stuff,
of, the Cosby
Can only
Show, of
imagine,
course.
like, yeah, it's just,
And then I think
I
of
guess you have
like
to
back and my wife and kid,
Mhm.
just with like the
Be
Wayne
patient with
brothers,
yourself
or
as
David
well.
Wayne. That was a really good one.
Okay.
I automatically think of like the Cosby Show.
Yeah,
and
that's
just
tough. And
nothing
then
else, really.
between
Like, I don't think of
between parents,
No,
that's
no.
also like a
no
difficult thing. That's
other
why you have you might have a father, you might have one parent
representations
that's
of
that's
fathers.
lenient, and the other,
Most of the time,
somebody
when I look at the
mentioned to me
media
recently playing the good
today,
cop, bad cop,
even
or
like
being the good cop, bad
growing
cop.
up, like a lot of
But
things
you might
like
have one family,
Rugrats
one
or
person in the
just the
family that would
cartoons I
like
would
to let
watch
them
and
run
stuff, they
and
always
play and
try
be
to make the
free, and
dad look like
then someone else is like, no,
dumb.
we need to
Like
keep them
he's
close.
dumb,
We need to
or
monitor
he's
what they're
only
doing,
there
give
to
them
make
structure
money.
or whatever, which I
Just
think all is
not
true.
really
But
speak
again,
very
it comes down
much.
to balance.
We don't really care what that can, or
Mm.
either that or he's by himself.
Yeah, too.
The dad's by himself.
Like you
That's
said
what I
as
was
well.
saying. Smart
Thinking,
guy
like,
and stuff like that. When
You know, we're trying to get this
a father
picture
and a mother,
perfect
one
family
family
and stuff. And those families aren't even picture perfect. So,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah,
If they, right,
taking off wherever.
They
but it's really
did that
about
to
what
us,
works
right?
for you and your
Maybe
family.
for whatever reason, popular media, sales, honed in on that part.
Just about letting
That
yourself grow, I think.
earlier, we all got
Do you
daddy
think
issues,
there's enough
and
support
yeah. So I
in
if I
in
go to
your
look at
community
it, I
personally
do see
for
a lot of that, right? I see a lot of that portrayal. No,
what would you
of the
do to change that?
absent, distant,
Perfect
irrelevant
support.
father.
What would that look like?
Right. And that's such because all the dads that I know.
One thing which I feel like would be the simplest, but right, it may not be. And I would say that is that I don't on media are immediate but friends. I would say that the things that I do run across that we're able to have an okay relationship are showing a lot a variety. Like, enough to where with all these successful people doing shows, they're nobody to talk to. They're showing their style of parenting. You can know a lot of people, whether it's and be lonely, right, and not have anybody to really share whatever really going on. They're showing, they're showing off all these different styles, but they're, I'm seeing a lot of people who are successful and well-off families, that it's famous families, for guys to gather. Yeah, I do see more. I do see there are a lot real more positive ones, I believe, out there.
Yeah.
So
now that is
like I'm not saying are the people who are successful and stuff are the positive ones. I'm just saying there's a lot of variety. Public, nobody wants nobody wants to talk about real. There
is a lot of
for whatever reason
different representation.
We resort to talking about other things,
types of dads and things that we wouldn't see
that basically gets us off of the hook of really sharing what's going on.
So I guess,
I don't know all the names of them, but I would like it to be more acceptable. I see them, all that, of our, the stars, the comedians, a lot of the comedians that I can tell you today that fatherhood shows and family, oriented shows.
Yeah, like
I'm going through some things, and
Baker,
I'm a new father. And I'm
on stage. Their dad,
a father to a newborn, and
so I like that.
And there's a lot of things that I still haven't figured out yet, but I know that that's okay. But I still struggle with what I'm, how to do this.
Right, just like you said, a different type of dad,
and how to do it well.
Their kids that have different relationships with their
kids. I really, I've been watching Kevin Hart. I've been watching him a little bit. Talk to others about it. Like, I really want to talk to him, and I am. I'm actually working through, things. Thankfully, is what he's, what he's putting out there anyway. As far as representation,
right?
And I like really that. Want to talk about like what's going on. I like the transparency. So I just, that's my heart. And community is that some of these role models now. Loving the community garden, and these we're doing projects in the community together. These other role models, their transparency, going, like I said, that they're door, and this is how I'm feeling today. Being outside, really. But when anybody think about it, it's like it's what tough. It is. It's tough to find those spaces, like we said. They're like our messengers right now, telling us that we're so closed in to ourselves. TV ain't real.
Yeah, and I
You know,
I
think of
definitely
the
hope
Olympics
that as well that
and
we get
tennis,
into a
you know,
place where we can
all
all
these
just talk
athletes and
about real
stars and stuff,
shit.
and they're
Like
saying that,
there's
hey, you know, I
definitely
struggled with
things
this for
happening.
years,
Like there's
and I'm
stuff that's
still
going on in
struggling a little bit,
America
you know, like
or whatever, but there's
the ones who
still
are test
stuff
stories. I
going
think of
on
Kevin
right
Hart,
within your
and there's some
community,
other
your
comedians who
neighborhoods,
I
all
feel
that
like
stuff
they're really
that's affecting you.
are
Like other people are feeling
comedians
that too. Like I
are like
definitely wish
our
we could just
coaches, our
stop
cheerleaders,
acting
right?
like
They
nothing
get
is
to
happening
say
for sure.
things. They get to
Like
say things about
we're just
reality
all so
Right.
numb to
and stuff like
we're
that,
just acting like we're numb. Like
and
you
get away with it, you know,
sometimes
on
I just want to
TV and stuff like
scream. Like
that,
you
you
see
know.
this shit, like you see
And
this happening.
even
You
as
do.
real
How can
as
you not
causing
say
real
how can you
friction
not feel
amongst
some type of way
people
about
in
what's going
real
on?
time,
So
right?
I
And
definitely
we're seeing that too, right?
I do
And
be
that's
supportive.
community. You know, a lot of people are up in arms about these things that are
Especially for
happening to
dads.
these
I'm a
famous people
big,
on
big,
stage and
big
stuff like
advocate for
that.
that.
But
Like I
you know
feel
what?
like
That's like I said,
dads
it's
are
messy. Community is messy.
that's true. In different
You know,
ways, just to that's true. And I
and
would
because
just yeah.
because
I another question I have for you is just
no,
do
I'm
you
saying
think
because
there's
we're
different
all human, you know,
organizations
and all
or
make the, you know,
different things
are
in
prone
place
to make
that stop
the same
fathers
mistakes as
from
each other.
being right?
You know,
Being fathers to people.
that's
Like
the
do
real.
are there
That's
things
the
in your
real.
community that hinder? That's true. It is life is definitely messy. It's not gonna be just there's ups and downs. That's the only way you know you're alive is things
Right
are
off,
constantly
I don't.
changing and moving all over the place.
Well,
So if you want
yeah,
things
like
Yes.
probably
have
the
to-
justice, you know, the justice system. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
You know
it.
what are you know what the
That's really
what the
it.
justice
And
system
see,
focuses
society,
on
I
that
think
hinders,
one thing
right?
I can say
Because
that media
you
and
know
society is trying to get us to
we're
do is to
basically
prepare
profiling
everything. You
every
know,
man. Like even for this talk, right? You know, like we want to kind of have. We talked about media
especially
earlier and
black
how
men,
we're all
right?
meeting on social media and
So
all that, right?
Mhm.
And you know, and I'm looking at all this
profiling
media, I'm
us
like,
and
man, they
you
really
know,
labeling us
they
all
just
the
they
way
really
from
know how to engage with the
birth
audience on
and
TikTok and
grade
YouTube.
and school
They're
and
like,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
They must have a script and a screenwriter and everything. You know,
Do you
I'm
think
like,
there's any
they really
sometimes when I think about
time
that
to put
stuff,
some
I
content
get
together.
really
That's how I see it. You know, they may have
discouraged.
put it together, you know,
And
last
again, I'm
minute.
not
You
a
know, I
black
don't know.
man. Like,
But it's to
so
me, it's
how does that
like,
make
you know, we're talking
you
about
feel?
fast
Like,
fashion
do you think
too,
there's
right?
any
Fast
hope
fashion. They were talking about
for
how people are
that,
buying
for
clothes just for
the type
social
of
media now.
system that we have to
And,
be
you
a
know, just
part
how
of? Is
instant
there
all
any
that
hope
is,
for
right?
the black father? Like, will there ever be any type of
And,
or a sense of
but yeah, I
community
think, you know,
for that?
we put, you know, we have a lot of opportunities to do branding versus real community.
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah,
like because we're, you know, absolutely. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say,
I mean,
I
you know,
think
you
so
talked
too.
about
Like
how,
we said
you
before,
know,
it's more of a
you know, as
business
far as what
mindset rather than actually
resources, you know,
enjoying the
resources
people
are
you're
out there.
around and the things that you enjoy. Like what you want to do is more of
Man,
like, how can I make
that's
money
really
off of this, and
that's
how can I
that's
make money off
a
of that?
work.
I mean,
That's a
that's cool
fight.
too.
You
Not, I
know,
mean, we need
it like
money
it really
to
does. You're right. It's
survive
like
and live
it
and
really
stuff,
does
but we're
want
just
us
forgetting
to
about
fail.
living. That's what I feel like.
You know, I don't know if it's the I don't know,
But
you know why
I
that
totally agree that
why that is.
What we're seeing in the media now is more of, like you said, it's community. It's something that like I was watching every person has to work on within themselves and then their comedians the other day, and they were saying how it's more like a brotherhood. So you know, they're like-minded sisters, and I guess I can agree with that because they're all like-minded people who want to do better, similar things, and they're in the similar places. So why not have this group this hard, you know, support each other?
I think it. Every time I think of like doing something for
I
like
admire,
for
you know,
my
admire
community, right?
groups that, you know,
I'm like, man, I really want
have
to like bring people together. I really want to affect change,
brotherhood and sisterhood.
and you know, and I
Man,
pray about it.
like,
I think
wow,
on
like,
it,
you know, you see it still there.
it gets overwhelming, right? It's like, man, you know,
Unfortunately, I think some of that, you know, turns into like,
and you got your own, like I said, you got your own family. You got to take care of now. You know, I think of that more and more now.
you know,
because,
like political.
You know,
it turns into like political
like
sides and stuff like
how valuable
that,
time
you
is
know?
or whatever.
But like I see groups.
So
like,
whenever I
I
start
don't know a
getting
lot
crazy
about
thoughts
this,
about
so,
how
know,
I can do do something big for a whole lot of people,
anybody, but
community,
like
fraternity. I always hear start with the one, start with one person, right? But number one person is yourself. Start with yourself. I'm right. I love like, hey me, what I see. I'm like, man, they really like they now that I'm they got through some life changes. My job, my work, family, whatever. No matter where they are, they got somebody. I actually have to get, and whether they know them or not, it's like, oh, you alpha, you kappa, whatever. And I think that is so. And I think cool. I think I would just skip right over that work if I wasn't paying attention. I would just skip right over that work. I try to keep on being the same round peg.
Like you said, they can just go wherever. Right.
Like, and not really paying attention to that a whole lot's changed with me. And so this may take some time. Yeah, so that's a community. Also, how to get used to it, how to we all don't have access. How to work through it.
Right.
And so then I think, like then I think, okay, well, I didn't. One person. Let me just go through. I didn't go through a 4-year. Let me just. I have a friend, who I haven't talked to in a while, like that. I had camaraderie. They would always call me to see how I'm doing. I've always done community events. It's hard for me to reach out to somebody right now, but let me just try. With grassroots, always.
Yeah, you're right.
But
just take that one step, and that's my thing too. Like I'll get overwhelmed by all these things that, or all these like plans and stuff that I think
equals strength. Like strength in numbers, right?
Help and everything like that, and it becomes.
But they're also an example. I think we can look at these fraternities and these organizations, political groups, and see their commitment to one another. Even the ones we don't like.
Right.
But we see they're like loyalty and commitment. It's like, whoa. That's what I think we can do with each other is, but like we got family members. It comes down to balance, right? How do we do that without having? We got fathers that have, just who aren't, call it, there, say it, made lots and lots and lots of mistakes. How do we do that? And I think where there's a accessible to everybody, there, right?
Yeah.
There's a level of no matter, right? No matter what your status is, or for your educational background, for the kids, for the how do we do that where it's accessible to everybody? Have gone through those experiences. Maybe there's times in I think our history where it was like that. We were all, maybe we're like, during times of healing to happen. Maybe, at somebody. Here's another thing I think about like that about what we need to do. Although what media is doing for us and everything, I think the term like it really the revolution will not be televised. I think of that. I think of that. I forgive you. I think that the work that needs to be done, and I need to, and I need to really beyond this conversation. I need to do the things that I need to do to change this. And I think the work that needs to be done because now I have you reaching out to me and me reaching out to you initially, and having an initial conversation. I don't think
that will happen until,
and for us to find out where we are, right? Hey, how are you? What you doing? Well, I'm working on this. Of course, it goes to
until we're able to say, hey,
it
might not even be with the person. You may not,
because we're trying to relate.
A chance to talk to that other person.
We're all trying to build community around something that is.
Hey, I forgive that situation. I forgive that version of me that would even tolerate that. Or
that is something we enjoy.
Like that, right? And move forward.
So we're trying to create our own communities.
I totally.
Yes.
I totally. Well, this was awesome. You got in. I only have sometimes it's hard for you, and then I'm going to name my piece right now. Like, and are you almost? What you almost finished? Or sometimes I feel like I
almost. Yeah, I am.
Different people. For a circle or whatever. And sometimes I get discouraged.
I don't know if I'll have a plating. I don't know if I'll have a plating.
Maybe they won't really like what I have to say. That is okay. So thank you again so much for coming and creating with us. This is really cool. I never had someone cook, but I think that's really awesome.
Yes, that is so true.
Yeah,
that is so true. I think a lot of us are, I think a lot of us are dealing with that.
I think it's like an art form.
It's the kind of like fear. It is. Acceptance.
So as a father,
it's like we all want to kind of take that leap, right? Like right now, there's a lot of fathers that I want to call. And I even asked to talk to some of them, which is hard to do.
Mindset or positive mindset.
And there's people who've asked to talk to me, and I'm thinking to myself, like, ooh, I don't know, Yeah. And it's not them, right? It's me, right?
I just don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm like I don't want to be a downer. I don't want to be discouraging to nobody.
Right.
So so then you just kind of go isolate yourself
again,
because you feel like you gotta have it all
very
together.
hard thing,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Mainly because of ourselves. That we gotta get past ourselves.
I do. I think
that's right now
but
we're talking about one of the things that's
I think
probably a widespread issue.
Earlier I talked about that social capital.
What's their one term?
Imposter
syndrome.
Oh yeah.
When you start to see,
right?
Because you might think, you might think it's always unbalanced. Like you always give more than the other, or whatever. Or when you're in relationships with people in your life, or your family,
I mean, maybe it's always been like
really
this.
taking a look at
what
that looks like,
and nobody thinks they can really
what
do more than
can I do today to offer something to somebody around me?
Maybe it's just
I don't
know.
But first starting with yourself, take care of yourself, make sure you're well, and that
my conspiracy issues you got,
my conspiracy theory is that you address
being
that some people journal, some people like me, I do a lot of thinking
and portrayed to us. It's a combination of things.
Right.
But
there's this real
interesting
think
word
on
that I found.
whether there's an imbalance or not.
Very, very
real interesting, and it's called.
If there's an imbalance in you, you gotta find some way to take care of that.
Yeah.
Anomie.
Right. If there's an imbalance in you,
A-N-O-M-Y.
and you're trying to go fix somebody else or go fix your family or fix something else, that's not really gonna happen.
Right. Yeah.
So it gets pretty deep. Like it gets pretty deep, but it made sense to me. It made
one of the one of the biggest things is
and recognizing that yourself that you got issues.
It's another word for it is a social breakdown.
Not to look bad, look down on yourself and feel bad, but just try to just do something to take care of it.
Let me see.
Yeah.
I think that would help.
I thought I had anomie right here, but
gotta keep up with
the social breakdown thesis, also known as anomie, social breakdown thesis, is a theory that posits that individuals that are socially isolated, living in atomized, socially disintegrated societies are particularly likely to support, it's talking about right-wing populist parties.
Thank you.
According to social breakdown theory, when traditional social structures based on class and religion are breaking down, individuals lack a sense of belonging and are attracted to.
At first I saw this
nationalist parties because
kind of in the middle.
Because of psychological research, says that it leads to an increased sense of self-esteem and efficiency.
That I
basically what I got
being regular like they're supposed to, like that.
Our social,
you were there
yesterday,
it seems
like our social fabric is breaking down all around us. We gravitate to some
I just thought
organizations
bursting out
that
busting out
that give us some kind of sense of belonging. So we can't get it. We can't get it in the regular community.
It makes me also think of like the change
our neighborhood,
right?
So
that in the midst of
seek it out
all the things
like
that
a national scale or whatever.
We need to, we need to do something really
research,
really big.
There's a whole lot into that too. But I guess we're just looking for something to attach onto, and if we're not all doing that, we're all watching TV and
do it
induated with media. We have all this media to be our friend. But the words that came to me were in the mix. We can gravitate to whatever
I don't know why
somebody puts out there for us, that looks the strongest.
In the midst, and I use that, and I think of it that way because not just in the midst.
I came across that word during COVID. I'm thinking,
but like in the midst of everything that seems normal,
what's going on? Like it seems like there's something going on with all of us. And I looked it up. I'm like, what is that? What is that
great happening inside of us?
When all of a sudden there's an opportunity drastically, socially.
There's an opportunity,
physically and environmentally, all these things,
to
latch
on to
what that opportunity is. And I researched it and I came across that word. I was like, wow.
And like reach out, like branch out, and get excited. And
knew what it was called. Like
so that's kind of what I thought of in the midst.
Exactly. Right, thank you. I really like that. It's just everybody. I feel that too, like a burst of. That's what it seems like to me. Like everybody's like we were talking about this shifting that energy. They don't understand. We don't understand what's going on, so it's like these like reflecting on what's going on and why we're actually or just whatever. Something to cling on to, something to make us feel like okay, we fit here. Like this is us. This is me now. Like I like bologna sandwiches, so I must be a bologna sandwiches. Like like the different decisions I'm making daily, like even just the small little stuff, like that has the power to change. I don't know. Something for tomorrow. What would you say to people who just feel like just like we talk about getting overwhelmed with huge, grandiose plans, like just take it bit by bit. That's what I would say. Change or needs a. That's what I would say. Mind shift. Just take it change by change, even. Just something.
Yeah, it seems like we're doing a lot of that. We're looking at ourselves. I like that. And that's that. I think we were talking about how it gets really good. A little scary. We're like, we look at ourselves and then we think about who we want to be around. I think of loving, take loving steps, right? So steps, loving yourself and loving others. Some loving steps, not steps of fear and hatred and I'm thinking of something like this, right? Like, but some loving steps and. I like to anybody out there, definitely. And fathers, I'm real passionate about having a place for fathers. Think about like how do you help right now? How do you engage with the community? How do you? I would say, talk it out. Talk it out with somebody. If we can talk in business terms, a lot of us are social worker, counselor, right whatever, coworker, doing things for ourselves, or somebody working for a company. You've seen as being grounded in the past just a little bit. Some of the principles that we use when we go to work or we're running our business. I'm really struggling with capital, or whatever. Like capital, talk it out. Right, you can't go make a withdrawal if we have somebody money in there. Right? I would encourage anybody. We can't go make a withdrawal. There needs to be a deposit.
You gotta talk to somebody.
In community and in relationship,
it's always
of it like this. Like make sure every time we're engaged with each other, each time we meet, what's the split?
So again, thank you so much for this.
Right, what's the split? So
anything else you'd like to share with us before we sign off this evening?
Just not picking on you, right? But just for instance, this show right here, right? I can't wait to like us men, fathers, and we teens and all of us in the community to talk more. The most. If we want to put it in terms of what's in it for me, right? Because a lot of people think that way. Today, what's in it for me? If I'm going to go out with y'all, if I'm going to be your friend, if I'm going to
as well,
be in a relationship with, what's in it for me?
Actually talk about these things. So looking forward to it.
So.
Thank you guys for joining us this evening.
What's the balance? What's the split?
See you next week.
Right. What percentage of this activity that me and you right here are doing? What percentage is for you and what percentage is for me?
Right.
I know that's a long shot to look at it that way.
Everything that's going on right now, it's true. And that's how. That's how I look. How do you avoid helicopter parenting? That's how I look at everything, really. Like that's how I look at who I asked to be on the show or be a guest. Like, okay, why would they even be interested in this? Or
tell me what helicopter parenting is.
What are we gonna really do? Like what are we really getting out of this? Just overprotective, like trying to do everything for your kids. Sometimes it's hard to get past those. Well, I guess this would be kind of hard to answer because to actually sit down and think about those things and children put effort towards it. And how sometimes that might make you miss out on that you're able to or building the community. Just give your advice as a father and not try to live their lives for what can happen or why for them.
Right. I know any parent would tell you that they, would have a problem with that. But it holds. So, like, go ahead. We got 2 minutes.
We got 10 I think first. So this one too. So
first of all, I feel like it's very hard to do. It's very hard not to do that.
Questions for you, and then we can wrap it up.
Right, because again, you feel like it's your duty.
Thank you so much.
To protect and by all means necessary